Howdy friends and people that love to insult me. Dean Satilli here reporting on the final night of Bob and Phil duo tour, and a dynamic duo tour it was. For the most part, I had a lot of fun during this tour. I thought they made some great music. I felt like the second night in Chicago was like a do-over for the first night in Boston. And I knew the hate was going to roll when I didn't give a wonderful review of Boston. But funny, Peter Shapiro trolling me yesterday. He texted me a YouTube link to the Maker from the first night in Boston, talking about his favorite new tune, his new favorite song. So, motherfucker trolling me. And anyway, that was fun. I had a laugh out of that. But, you know, most of these shows I'm very complimentary about. And I'm not nearly as salty as a lot of you fuckers out there that, you know, that I should just sit home and listen to shows from '73. And these guys are making a lot of good music. There is a lot of good music left from our favorite musicians, and I love seeing Bob out there. I love seeing Phil out there. I travel all over the country to take it in, and it doesn't mean that I love everything that happens and I'm outspoken about that, but the experience overall to me is still irreplaceable. You still can't get hundreds, thousands of our friends together in one place with our favorite musicians and have the kind of feeling and love fest that goes on at any, whether it's Phil and Friends or Dead and Company or Bob and Phil tour. It's still all of us gathered amongst our favorite musicians, and there's no place I'd rather be. Even on a night that I thought was less than stellar, there's still no place I'd rather be. And the reason why, you know, why I'll see them all, watch them all, go to as many as possible, and I don't miss, because you don't want to miss the magic when it happens. And that's how it was. Listen, even through the 90s and stuff like that, when things were kind of coming unglued a little bit, the mid to late 90s, you know, you went to all of them because you didn't want to miss the night when all the rabbits came out of the hat. And occasionally that would happen. And Bob and Phil duo tour was very much the same. I thought that the first night in Chicago and the second night at Radio City were outstanding. I think there was some music made those nights that it was a pleasure to be a part of and take in. And that's why we watch them all, we view them all, we listen to them all, we try to go to them all, or as many as we possibly can, because you don't want to miss the magic when it happens. And there's still a lot of magic left in our favorite musicians. You know, I guess I'm a little more critical than some, but not nearly as critical as others. So I still love what's happening in our community. I still think the community's alive and thriving. I still am grateful that I'm spending so much time in so many cities with so many of my brothers and sisters out there, all over the place. From Mexico, we just got back to, you know, to all the places we've been in between since GD 50th, and really since the beginning, since for me, 11/11/85, in the friendships, I want to give a shout out to one of my friends, Sarah, out there, who I toured with, did quite a bit of shows with in the early 90 and 91, and Jerry Band shows at the Warfield. And Sarah, she's a miracle machine. She got a very athletic son, and she buys, her and her husband are always buying great seats and, you know, and packages and stuff like that to shows. And a lot of times, because of her son's athletic ability, they're not able to make the shows after they buy him. Either he's in some playoffs or whatever. The kid's a good athlete. And Sarah really blessed some members of the community by giving away packages from CID, and she had contacted me, and we were able to pass them along to some people, and she didn't want any money for them. She gave them to me, and she said, no, just bless others. So, you know, Sarah, you're what it's all about. People like you, you deserve the blessings that come your way. And so the friends that I was able to pass those packages along to were over the top thrilled and had a great time, and we got them into the hands of people that really enjoyed the show. So anyway, that's it for my commentary to open. Let's get to the show. Second night duo tour. Last night of the tour in Chicago, they opened up with Cumberland. That's fine. I don't think, you know, with just Bob and Phil out there, Cumberland's got a chance to go too deep on you, but Cumberland was okay. And then we get Tennessee Jed, and Tennessee Jed's one of those songs that maybe y'all can share with me if you've been enlightened by Tennessee Jed, but I mean, I've done thumbprints of Crystal LSD and heard Tennessee Jed and got absolutely no secrets of the universe from it. The song basically means nothing, but I like it. I like the jams. I know you hate me. I know it's the greatest song ever. I get it, but it was fun to hear. Then we get Alabama Getaway. I probably shouldn't comment much. Love the song. Alabama Getaway is one of the few Grateful Dead songs that I think the best version I ever heard was the studio version, and I'm not so sure that one ever did a wonderful job translating live, but I'm sure you think differently, and I'm an asshole for having that opinion, so we'll leave it at that. Phil singing Alabama Getaway. Loose Lucy was next, and Loose Lucy was fine, and then we get Lazy River Road again. Phil's, you know, that's been Phil's thing this tour, and it was fine. Then, you know, then we get The Maker, right? We get The Maker. And I gotta admit, The Maker, the second night of Chicago, I don't know, maybe repetition helps a little bit or something, but I hated it much less than I did the first time they played it in Boston. I might have enjoyed The Maker. I thought The Maker was okay. Then they did the half step. Once again, much better than it was the first night in Boston. Then you get Cassidy to close it, and Cassidy's great, but we've had a couple Cassidys with a lot more musicians involved and a lot more power and a lot more things happening. So Cassidy was a good closer, but I don't think it had what the prior Cassidys had on this tour, mainly due to the absence of additional musicians on stage, most likely. So anyway, curtains open up. There we go. We got Jeff again. We got Larry and Teresa again. We already know these guys can play great together. We get Crazy Fingers, right? Like I said, do-over from Boston. This thing's a do-over from Boston. And the Crazy Fingers was much better, I thought. Much better than the first night of Boston. I enjoyed it, and for whatever reason, it didn't make me cringe this time. Then we get the New Speedway. New Speedway's always good, and the state of affairs in the country and the world. New Speedway's as apropos now as it ever was, I imagine. Then we get Mountains of the Moon, and you know, the addition of Teresa on Mountains of the Moon I thought was wonderful. She just adds so much to that. Teresa, you know, having that female voice in there to me along with Phil was beautiful. I really appreciated that. Then we get the Cryptical. I love the Cryptical. Always loved the Cryptical. And they mix it up a little bit. This whole show's a do-over. This is a do-over, and they're getting another chance, and to me, they're making it right. They're making it happen. And everything is sounding much better. You get Let It Grow. Let It Grow was fun. And, you know, Cryptical, naturally, we just want to hear Phil coming out of Cryptical with the notes of the other one, but we get Let It Grow. And to me, that was good. And then you get the other one. Then they give you the other one. The other one was a wonderful time. We all threw ourselves into the, you know, into the washer and just got tumbled around and spun around by that one. And that one did what it did. That one helped you to kind of scramble up your head and put it all back together again. And then for me, you get Uncle John's, which was good. For me, Weir's best Garcia ballad, and once again, I'm not the Graham fucking Poobah of Grateful Dead land. I'm one guy with an opinion, and to me, Weir's best Garcia ballad that he sings is The Days Between. I think Weir on The Days Between, it's one of the few tunes that he's taken, Garcia tunes, and to me is just outstanding on that one. He sings from the heart and to the heart of the song, and all the emotions that I was there when they busted out these tunes in Oakland. It might have been like the Chinese New Year's run back in the day. Anyway, I was there when they broke out all these tunes. The Days Between's one of those songs I like from the beginning, and that was easy with Garcia tunes, but I remember loving it from the beginning and walking out of the place that night and looking forward to being able to hear it again because, you know, back then we had some friends that were tapers, so you could hear it pretty quick after, but you know, it kind of wasn't like now. You just it's immediately available on video. You could watch it all over again. It wasn't that easy. But to me, The Day Between is just it's a great song on Weir. Weir brings everything to that song that you would want that song to contain, and I think he's wonderful on The Days Between. I absolutely loved it. Then, you know, they play some strong shows and strong all the way through, and they trip up. On the encores, they trip a little bit, and Broke Down was beautiful, but was some stumbling on the encore. Who cares? Like I said, when you've played outstanding music all night, you know, you're certainly entitled to some hiccups. I mean, they're Bob and fucking Phil. They're entitled to all the hiccups they want. Their musical history is already afforded them the luxury of playing good or playing bad or playing whatever the hell they want at any time they want. So, you know, we wrap up this duo tour, brainchild of Peter Shapiro. So if you love the duo tour, you can thank Shapiro for it. If you hated the duo tour, you can blame him. And we'll have people that'll want to do each, but I thought it was a great experience. I really thought of the 6 shows, I thought we had one that was a dud, and I thought we had 5 shows that were good. Out of those 5, I think we had 2 that were outstanding, 2 that were exceptional, and the 2 exceptional shows for me were the second night of Radio City and the first night of Chicago. I thought those 2 nights are the kind of nights that we travel all over and we make sure we don't miss shows because we want to be in the building when those moments happen. And that's how it kind of all unwound for me. Amazed at the ability of our community to go out there and enjoy ourselves like this and show up big for our favorite musicians, and for our favorite musicians who are some guys that are getting up there in age to show up every night and give it all they got. And I love Bob. I love seeing Phil. Phil is here in my neighborhood. He got his birthday shows, and then, you know, the show with Winwood at the Cap coming up, and maybe we'll catch Phil there. But Phil, after this, Phil, I think you need to rest, Bubba. I mean, these guys have been staying super busy. And people try to say, oh, you know, well, you know, they're old, and that's why things are slow, or there's a hiccup. I mean, they're working hard. Brothers are working hard. They're all over. Weir hadn't stopped. I mean, it's amazing the power and energy and what these guys are still putting into the music 53 years later. I'm abundantly grateful for that. I'm grateful to take part in even shows that I don't think are terrific. You know, regardless, there still ain't no place I'd rather be. And it's been a great tour. 6 shows. I think that's good on duo tour. I don't think I needed much more than that. But fantastic night. If something like this happens again, I hope we get some shit like The Monkey and the Engineer and The Race Is On. And I'd love to see some of those in the acoustic setting, and I would love to hear that from Weir. But anyway, what we got to hear, we were blessed to hear, and it was just a wonderful, wonderful experience for me. I know a lot of y'all had the same kind of comments about it, and here we go. What's next? I guess Phil's birthday. Happy birthday, Phil. We got Phil's birthday shows coming up at the Cap. There we go. Love you. See you soon. Ciao.